Isn't it fascinating how some film genres just, well, stick around? And right now, if you look at the box office, horror, it's not just sticking around, it's kind of dominating.
It really is. It's quite something.
We've got this report here, May 17, 2025, and the numbers, especially for a couple of films, Final Destination, Bloodlines, and Sinners, they really, really jump out.
They absolutely do. It paints a very clear picture of, the current movie landscape. Genres come and go, but horror strength right now. And as this report shows, it's pretty remarkable.
Okay, so let's really get into it. What's actually happening here? We should probably start with the big new release, right? Final Destination, Bloodlines.
The new champion, you can say.
Yeah, it just exploded. $43 million opening weekend. That's across, 3,523 theaters?
That's not just good. It's huge.
It's the best opening in the entire Final Destination series history. What do you make of that for a franchise that's, it's been going for a while now?
Well, 43 million, that signals a really strong connection still. A lot of anticipation, clearly. The report mentions a really strong Friday, $5.5 million just from the Thursday previews.
Wow.
Yeah, those preview numbers show people were rushing out to see it. It makes you wonder, what did they do this time to get that buzz so high again?
And apparently people who went really liked it. It's got a 90% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
90%.
For a Final Destination movie. Famous for those, let's be honest, sometimes kind of ridiculous death scenes.
That's actually a great sign. It suggests they really hit the mark for the fans, maybe even, went beyond what people expected.
Yeah, must have.
And that score, 90%, that often translates to good word of mouth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is just invaluable for keeping people coming.
Totally.
And if you look bigger picture, this is Warner Bros. Fourth #1 opener this year.
Fourth already.
Yeah, follows Mickey 17, Minecraft, and actually Sinners, which we'll get to. It shows the studio's having a really strong run.
Definitely a good streak for them.
And, credit to the team, too. The directors, Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein, and the writers, Guy Busick and Laurie Evans-Taylor. They obviously found something that's clicking.
Okay, so speaking of clicking and having staying power, let's shift to Sinners, the vampire thriller.
Right, the enduring one.
It's in its 5th weekend now, and it still pulled in another $15 million.
$15 million week 5. That's impressive.
And the drop was tiny, only 32%. For horror especially, that kind of hold seems pretty unusual, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely unusual. Highly exceptional, actually. For an R-rated horror film specifically, to only drop 32% that deep into its run. Normally, you see much, much steeper falls after the first couple of weeks.
So it's just holding on.
It really is. The projection is that its total domestic haul will hit $240.3 million by Sunday.
Whoa.
Which is, frankly, kind of astonishing for this type of film. It shows Sinners has really struck a nerve, and it's keeping people engaged week after week.
The report even points out it's doing better than some historical benchmarks for R-rated horror, like the Blair Witch Project.
That really puts it in perspective.
Yeah, it's not just doing well, it's reaching a kind of sustained success level that we haven't really seen for a while in the genre. What do you think is giving Sinners that kind of, longevity?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or maybe the $240 million question here.
Oh, right.
A performance like this, a second look, or just making them tell everyone they know to go see it, it really makes you curious about the specific ingredients there.
Okay, so we've got this powerful mix then. A big new horror entry, Bloodlines, smashing franchise records, and then Sinners, another horror film showing incredible legs. It really points to a major moment for horror at the box office right now.
Exactly. And Warner Bros. Seems to be right in the thick of it with both of these.
Seems like it.
Yeah, the success of these two films, it's not just a fluke, right? It underscores this wider trend we're seeing. There's clearly a real hunger for well-made horror films at the moment.
And Warner Bros. Is feeding that hunger.
They've managed to tap into it really effectively, yeah. With different kinds of horror, too, which is interesting.
So just to give a little more context, the report mentions a few others in the mix. Thunderbolts from Disney and Marvel.
Yep, holding second place.
It made $16 million, which is, solid, but it's in its 3rd week. Seems to be slowing down a bit, maybe. Its total is around $154.8 million.
Yeah, decent cumulative number, but maybe not the explosive hold of names attached to that one.
Huge names. But the opening seems, a bit soft. Projected between $3.3 and $4.7 million. Apparently Friday was weaker than expected, and the audience reaction's been a bit lukewarm.
That's interesting.
Especially considering the weekend's massive success elsewhere, tours, albums.
That contrast really says something, doesn't it? You've got these horror films overperforming, and then a film with huge stars potentially underperforming.
Yeah.
It just goes to show, star power isn't always enough. The report mentioning that week Friday and the audience reaction, it suggests the film itself, the execution, maybe isn't quite connecting.
It's always about the movie itself in the end, isn't it?
Pretty much. And just briefly, a Minecraft movie is also mentioned.
Oh yeah, still chugging along.
Still steady. $5.6 million in its 7th weekend. Its total is huge now, over $416 million.
Wow. So, okay, other genres are definitely still playing, but horror is really having a moment.
It's the standout performer right now, for sure. And what's interesting is how Warner Bros. Has positioned these horror films within their May schedule.
Right. Seems like a conscious strategy.
It really suggests they saw this trend, or maybe helped drive it, and they knew what audiences were looking for this month.
So, okay, let's wrap this up. If we pull it all together, what's the big picture from this May 17th report?
Well, first, Final Destination. Bloodlines had a massive record-breaking opening for its franchise.
Shows there's still a lot of appetite for that specific kind of Rube Goldberg death trap horror.
Definitely. And then Sinners is just demonstrating incredible staying power. It proves a really well-received horror film can have serious legs and be super profitable.
Yeah, that longevity is key.
So overall, the data is loud and clear.
Yeah.
Horror is a major draw at the box office right now.
And Warner Bros. Is riding that wave perfectly.
They certainly are. Bloodlines reignited a known series. Sinners became this long-running hit. It just highlights how strong and maybe how vital horror is in the current cinema landscape.
Which brings us to maybe a final thought for you, the listener. In a world where you have, endless entertainment choices right at your fingertips, why horror? What is it about being scared, about these kinds of stories that keeps you coming back for more?
It's a great question.
And what could the continued success